For the center of the small flowers, I want tiny little squares and diamonds, so I'm just gonna pop a piece off and try and cut some thin strips and then cut them at angles. So I'm gonna start just kind of over here somewhere, pop off a square. And then if you do about 1 inch to 1.5 inches, you should be able to cut pretty straight. So maybe not always, but they don't need to be perfect. I'm gonna go halvesies. Sometimes cutting it in half so that you have kind of equal sized pieces on either end will give you a straighter cut. So again, if it's like 1 inch, cut this in half, and then I'll cut this in half, and then I'll cut each of these in half, and you get a little bit straighter of a bar than before when I was just popping strips off on the side. And I'm gonna try and get some skinny ones. I don't really care if they're slightly curved. All right, so now we're gonna do squares, and I'm just gonna go about however wide it is, same distance off the edge. I'm just gonna run down the piece like that. And they don't need to be perfectly square either. So that's what I got there. That's fine with me. Those are square enough. I'll do the same to the rest of these. Square enough. All right. And then diamond shapes. Same thing, but we're just gonna hold it at an angle. So cut off one of the corners. And then just run your nippers parallel to the same line you just made. Diamond shapes. And some of them might be a little crazy. You can, you know, when you get into assembling, if they're not quite right, you can cut a corner off there so that it's more appropriately shaped to whatever you need. Next up is small flowers, huh? So, we got a few different kinds of shapes. So when they're open like this, we have a smaller kind of petal with an angled entry point for the middle. And when they're on their side, we have kind of some eye-shaped, almond-shaped pieces, some almond-shaped pieces with little halves missing. And then the petals are kind of more diamond-shaped. So, I'm going to start by making some of this shape here. And I'm going to do mine all in this very, very light blush champagne. I think it's champagne pink. Champagne pink. They don't need to be very big, right? These petals, so they're like a little over 1/4 of an inch, right? So I'm just gonna pop off a rectangle piece like this, and then I'm going to split this into 3s. Interesting shapes. It's a bit too long, but it's fine. And they're also not very wide. Slightly less wide than they are long. I'm gonna bring it up like this, like a little Pope's hat, by cutting off at kind of a shallow angle. Same over here. Not too deep, not shallow. Just draw where you want the line to go with the wheel. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Alright, I'm gonna munch this and get the rest of the shape that I want. And again, same with like the daisy petals. I don't need them to be perfect. Just want a rough and tough, close to the original. And then at the bottom, it's got an angled entry. So at about a 45-degree angle. Hack off either side. Petal. Petal. It does seem square in here. Ba-boom. Beautiful. 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 Once you got 4 of them, you're gonna have something that look a little bit like these. Petal, 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 center. My suggestion to you would be to cut 1 flower's worth of these, see how you like it. See if you feel like you need to make any changes. You will notice, there's a decent amount of gap in between each of the petals at the center. So just fuck around with it a little bit on your own first, figure out what you like, and then cut the rest of the petals to match that. You feel me? I'm gonna make these shapes next. kind of sideways, almond shape. Half this. It's good enough for me. And super long, maybe like here. Started with some bars. And that is too fucking sharp for my blood. So, and then you just kind of nip the corners off and turn it into a nice shape. Doesn't have to be perfect. Good enough. I'm just going to cut a few of each of these shapes so that I can try assembling and see if we've got it right. That guy looks wild and a munch. Nip off the corners, just itty bitty. Good enough. The other petal shape on the angled flowers are just very small, kind of diamond shapes, which I already showed you how to do. There are a couple petals of the original petal shape for the small flowers that were kind of small. So you can also use those for the top petals. Reuse your shit. Next up, I glued all of these flower pieces down and then circled back to cutting my leaves and my background. So I'm going to leave you here on cutting, and next up I'm going to show you how to glue your pieces, how to get them onto your glass and all that jazz. So, which will all be in the next video. So I'll see you there. Bye!